Microphone check 212. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite, the world's favorite bearded man, Bob Bay, episode 19. We in the building. We're about to be at that 20 spot next week. Can't freaking wait. Let's go. Just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday, August 17th, 6:29 p.m. Got to give you guys and gals some context. It's Monday. It's beautiful. Had a fantastic day. Had a great weekend. Came in refreshed. Started the day off at 5:30 this morning. Got the blood flowing. Got a nice little workout. It's definitely been cooking up heat here in LA. The temperature is just so much different than New England, where I'm used to 90 degrees humidity in the middle of August. And for the most of the summer, it's probably just been in the 70s. And it hasn't really been too hot out in LA. I think we've had, at least where I'm living, we probably had a couple days of 90-degree weather. But other than that, it's been really great this summer. And that's why I love living in LA. The weather's just always good. But it's been cooking up. And I was definitely feeling it this morning when I was out for my my morning run. Your boy had to put in a couple extra steps, a little extra energy to get through that run. But overall, everything's going good. Had a great day with Liquid IV. Got some work done. We got a lot of cool shit happening behind the scenes for podcasts. And yeah, we're just cooking up, ladies and gentlemen. Also today, we dropped another guest podcast with my man Danilo Lubis, who is a incredible creative photographer, lifestyle photographer, tour photographer, music photographer. He works directly with the Chainsmokers. So that came out today. What's super dope too is he came through on Friday to do the podcast, and I hadn't seen this man since the first podcast that we recorded for Purpose in the Youth way back in August of 2019. So pretty much a full year later, I was able to connect with him, and we pretty much just dove into what the last year has looked like for him, and obviously everything that's happening with COVID related, especially for somebody like him who relies so heavily on touring with the Chainsmokers and other artists. That's usually like his gig. Like, he's on the road 9 months of the year. And so I was really interested going into that conversation because I knew this was somebody that has been really impacted by COVID. But it was really awesome to hear his perspective on how he's kind of changed, like, his schedule, not just his schedule, but like his perspective of like the situation, where when it first hit, it was definitely a hurdle for him, but he quickly realized, I got to lean into this. And he really has made use of the time. I mean, my man's playing a lot of golf. I know that for sure. But I also think he's been able to prioritize and work on other areas of creative that he hasn't had a chance to do so. So it was a great podcast. I really recommend checking it out if you have not yet already. Danilo is a great guy, fellow bearded brother. I mean, come on now. You put two bearded men together, sit down for a podcast, it's game over. But just a great guy. And even if you're not somebody who's interested in photography or touring, I just think there's so much to learn just from creatives and just different perspectives. You know, definitely trying to keep this podcast well-rounded with different types of guests. But yeah, just a really great podcast. So I would highly suggest checking that out. Shout out to my man Danilo taking the time to taking the time to be part of it. But we got more guests on the way, just slowly but surely. That's the third one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to be at 100 episodes, and we're going to be cooking up soon enough. We're currently sitting at 37 reviews. I know sometimes this gets annoying listening to podcasts and like, go leave a review. I know it's a pain in the ass, but please understand that, you know, for podcasters, most of the time, at least for somebody like me who are not making any money to do this, but purely passion, those reviews help a lot. So if you get a chance today, please head over to the iTunes podcast app and leave a 1-sentence, 1-word review. We're at 37 reviews with 5 stars. I'll take it all day, but we're trying to get to 50. We're trying to get it up there. Even though Spotify's taking over the podcast game, I know the value of the iTunes review, so that's what we're doing. Today marked the 4th newsletter for the Bearded Man, for the Bearded Wisdom. That's 4 weeks in a row. We're a month strong into the newsletter. Today's title was People Are Watching Even When You Least Expect It. I'm not going to dive into the deets of what that newsletter was about, but I hope people enjoyed it. We're starting to build up the contact list. People seem to be opening it, you know. I don't really have a understanding of what is good open rates and what's not, so we're just going to keep pushing it and then analyze the data after a couple months. But if you want to get some bearded wisdom right to your inbox every Monday morning. No spam, no BS. I pinky promise I would never do that to you guys and gals. Go to itsthebeardedman.com. Scroll down. You'll see Bearded Wisdom newsletter. Put in your first, last name, sign up, and I'm sending you a newsletter every Monday morning. The only other email you get from me is an update that I posted a blog. And the only reason I'm doing that is because if you're somebody that's getting a newsletter, I would imagine you're somebody that enjoys reading. So I'm also updating you on blogs. Other than that, that's it. Not asking for money, not asking for anything. I'm just trying to provide value and some high quality bearded content. So I hope you guys and gals are enjoying it. Last week was a big week. We dropped last Thursday 100 Days of Sweat, which was a reflection of the past 100 days. And last Thursday was the day I completed the challenge, which was a really awesome milestone, check off the bucket list type of thing. Even when I was thinking about it when I finished the run that morning, and I was like, I just did 100 Days of Sweat. It's like, wow, that happened. Whoa, and then you're on to the next thing. But proud of myself for doing it, and I definitely had a good amount of feedback coming back in through Instagram to my DMs of people that were signing up and doing it and had posted their first day as that day. So I hope people stay consistent with it, and I really do like these little challenges. I think they're, we set goals for ourselves, but the best way to hold yourself accountable is, yeah, you have these big long-term goals. How can you break that down into something you do daily? Whether it's reading 30 minutes a day, whether it's getting a workout every day, how do you break down those challenges? And I learned so much from it. And if you haven't had a chance, go back and listen to the 100 Days of Sweat episode. I was really happy with how that came out. And really, I think I was able to speak on what that challenge had taught me. It wasn't just me showing up for 100 days and working out, and that was it. There was a lot of lessons and values I learned throughout it, which was super interesting, and I didn't really expect, but just overall it was great. And it kind of led into this next challenge that I'm in right now, which is 29 days of no booze. That's right, 29 days as of this moment in time. As of 6:36, Monday, August 17th, I have had no booze in my system for 29 days. And obviously, you guys and gals can probably guess it. I feel fucking great. I feel fantastic right now. And I think the biggest takeaways I'm having as I'm doing this longer is just I'm so much more productive on the weekends. I have so much more mental clarity, more money in my pocket because I'm not spending it on booze. I just feel great. And as of right now, I'm definitely going to August 31st. I have a challenge with my buddy Ryan Pod, who's also the inspiration for this episode today. He kind of I put a challenge to him, and he put a challenge to me, two separate things, but he challenged me to no booze till at least August 31st, which is what I'm going to definitely hold myself accountable to. And then after that, it's totally up to me how much longer I'm going to keep going. But listen, if I made it, this is the second time I've done this little stint of no alcohol at all. The first time was last year in October, which October I believe is 31 days. So I'm 2 days away from surpassing my old record, and I just don't know why. I don't know. I'm definitely going to have another beverage at some point after August 31st, but I just have to keep reminding myself it's all about balance, and it's like it should be very, I don't know. I could spend hours just talking about it because I'm seeing so much value and benefits in my life of not touching it. So why would I go back to something that I know is only steering me away from it? I think a lot of it too it's because of COVID not really being in big groups of people. I'm very much a social drinker, so it's like I won't go looking for it, but if I'm in an environment where it's there, I'm just like, yeah, give me a Bud Light, give me a Blue Guy, give me a shot of Jameson, let's get this thing rocking. I kind of just go where the night takes me, which definitely has bit me in my ass. If you guys and gals have listened to any of this content or know any of my story, your boy likes to have some fun. Anywho, 29 days, we're going to keep rocking, we're going to keep rolling. One unfortunate thing that did happen today is I had to cancel my first trip to Nashville, Tennessee. That was supposed to be next weekend. It was a nice little 4-day weekend in Nashville. Would have been epic. Never been to Nashville. Have heard great things about it. Grew into a country fan a couple years ago. Went to probably 15 concerts within a summer. And I know if you're listening, you're not a country fan. Let me tell you right now, what a great atmosphere. Everybody's friendly. You tailgate at noon. You don't even go to the concert till 7. You just rage. And I was supposed to meet my sister, her boyfriend, and a bunch of their friends in Nashville. They were going to meet me from Charleston. I was going to fly across the country to go see the fans, see the friends. We're going to have ourselves a nice little weekend. But obviously, given COVID, and it just doesn't make sense. I think Nashville's pretty open right now, but even then, it's just not worth the risk. It's not worth being part of the problem and causing more issues, and it's just not worth it. So fortunately, I have to cancel that. But you know what that means? More surfing time for your boy, because your boy be turning up on them waves, baby. Getting nice on that surfboard. I'm not going to keep talking about it every episode because I know you guys are probably like, all right, sick, bro, we get it. But I'm loving surfing, and I'm just going to keep getting nasty. All right, so I was trying to think of something I wanted to talk about today. I didn't really have anything that was like inspiring me to talk about. And then I kind of went back and I was looking at some of the comments and topics that people had suggested last week that I never touched on. So shout out to my man Ryan Pott. He's for sure the inspiration for this podcast. And I've talked about it definitely in the most recent episodes. Even with Danilo, we kind of touched on it. So I figure, you know what? I'm going to designate one entire podcast to this topic. At least it'll be done, and then I'll move on to the next subject every week. But while it's relevant and while it's just super important and it's top of mind, I just wanted to kind of dive into my perspective and thoughts on a balanced lifestyle, as you guys and gals are probably hearing it in these podcasts over the last couple weeks of like transitions in my life outside of work and how I'm utilizing my time. And so I just wanted to speak on it because I think I can provide some value and some perspective for people. If you're somebody that feels like you're just so head down and you're not like really enjoying life per se, or you're not having time to like sit back and relax, well, sit back and relax for this episode, buckle up, because been there, done that, and we're going to dive into it. But what's interesting is during this podcast with Danilo, we talked about balance, and there was a moment when I was kind of talking to him about we understand like certain areas of our life that we want to work on, and I personally, now this is me speaking from my perspective and my own journey of life, I get frustrated with myself when I'm not seeing progress in a certain part of my life. The big ones right now, for sure, dating, like we've been talking about, trying to throw myself out there more, try to test the LA market. Also, for sure, took a deep 3 at the beach yesterday. 2 beautiful looking women by themselves at the beach, just smiling, having a good old time. I saw them. I said, you got to go for this, Bob. Like, time to step up to the plate, take a swing, brother, take a shot. So I walked over to these 2 beautiful girls, and I said, ladies, how we doing? How's it going? And immediately she looks up, and she goes, I'm going to stop you right there. We both have boyfriends. I said, hey, it's all good. Can I at least introduce myself? My name is Bob. What's your girl's names? Oh, I'm blank. I said, cool. I'm not gonna overstep. You girls must have some very lucky boyfriends. You both are beautiful. I hope you have a great rest of your day at the beach, and I boogied on out of there. But patted myself on the back because I wouldn't have done that. And I'm not somebody that is proactive about doing that type of thing. So I'm getting out there and being consistent. Trying to shoot my shot. Missing, but we're still shooting. Anywho, what I was talking to Danilo about is I personally get frustrated, like I was saying, the dating aspect of my life, this aspect of my life, other aspects of my life. But what I'm realizing is like, how are you going to get frustrated with yourself about the progress you're making in these areas of your life when you haven't even given it much effort? Like, yeah, I've been kind of going full throttle for like the last 4 to 6 weeks where I'm like trying to throw myself out there and trying to get out there and work on this specific area of my life. Why am I going to get frustrated that I'm not seeing progress? Like, that's the dating aspect is just one area of my life that I'm working on trying to get better at. It's like anything else in your life. Like, if you go into the gym for 6 weeks, you're going to start seeing results, but you're not going to see the maximal, like the true results for probably 6 months if you stay consistent. So I kind of had this moment where I was like, okay, you need to slow down. There is no progress without effort. That's what I was realizing. There's no progress without effort. Now that I'm putting in the effort, the progress is going to come. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to come over in the next couple weeks. It might take me a couple months. It's not going to take a couple years. It's going to take a couple weeks, couple months. But I'm going to get there. I'm going to get back in the game, about to figure some shit out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to figure it out. That's like anything in our lives. We have to put effort towards the things and areas that we want to improve. And if we don't do that, how can we be frustrated that it's not improving itself? It's not just going to get better. It's just not going to just change overnight. We have to put in the proper effort to get this, to a better place in our life of whatever area that we're trying to work on. Mind you, balance today. Balance. So, it's easy to get out of balance. I figured this out because I did it for 3 years. I was not balanced whatsoever. I was work. That's all it was. And on top of that, it was about my own personal health. So I was making sure I was working out 5 to 6 days of the week. I was meditating every day. Everything was work related. I was either driving Uber or I was podcasting. And if I wasn't doing either of those, I was researching for a podcast, or I was reaching out to somebody about a podcast, or I was going to an event because I knew there was potential podcasts, because everything was calculated. Everything was about work. And I have no regrets because I was early in my career. I was trying to build a name for myself. I was trying to build a project, especially when you're early on in something and you have a vision and you're still at stage one or, first 6 months. There's so much energy in you because you just want to see it come to fruition. But we don't realize when you're in it in the beginning is like there's nothing you can do to speed up the time, so you might as well enjoy it. And so I prioritized work. I became tunnel vision. I just went all in on everything that was work related, and it helped me build my career, helped me meet the people that I met. Once again, no regrets, but it's so easy to get out of balance, which I'm going to dive into in a second. It's very easy to get out of balance when you're just tunnel vision on just one area of your life, or 2 or 3, when you could be potentially looking at your life at 5 or 6 areas of your life of, yes, balance. What am I saying? I don't know. I have so much to say. Sometimes I forget what I'm actually saying. So before I get into it, let me just say this. I don't know where you are in your life. I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you live. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know any context of what you're going through. But I will say this. I think one commonality a lot of successful people have is that there's a point in their life where they have to do the head down. They have to go head down, and they have to learn, and they have to figure out what they're trying to do, and they have to build on that vision. There's also times in your lives where there is no other option. Could be bills that are coming inbound. You could be in charge of taking care of your family. You might have children. You might have student loans you have to catch up on. I mean, there's so many other things and factors that could be happening in your life. And if it's happening to you right now, breathe. It's going to be fine. You are going to get through it. I really do believe that every successful person goes through this phase in their life. And at some point they get out of it, which I was able to do, which I never thought it would come. I mean, there were plenty of times when I was driving Uber, I'm like, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to be able to just stop driving Uber? Like, I wish I had more of that documented of me talking about it, because it felt like it was never going to come, and it eventually did. So if it happened for me, it's going to happen for you. So remain positive while you're going through these adjustments, or you just feel like you're not catching that break yet. Like, you have to be your biggest hype man, your biggest hype woman. You have to tell yourself to literally just keep going, just focus on the day ahead of you, because at some point you're going to be able to get out of it. If you're at a point now where you can actually afford balance, it kind of can honestly sound like a privilege, because I understand there are people that are in certain situations where they can't have the balance in their life. So I've been there, I've done that, and that was more so on my own fault. It was me just like being so, I just want to build. It wasn't really the exterior factors. I had college loans, I had rent, car insurance, I had bills, but like I was usually pretty good with my money, where I could definitely step away from work for a couple weeks and be totally fine. Definitely a day or two. It wouldn't have hurt me, but I was just like, gotta work. But what I've realized is that the balance actually adds so much more value. It might not seem like it, but it actually provides so much value to your life that I actually think it improves you, and it actually brings more to you that you can't actually, I can't tell you specifics on how it's gonna benefit you, but you're going to see it firsthand happen in your own experiences. So look at it like this. To make it easy, I'm not saying this is the way everybody should be looking at their life. I'm not saying this is the golden rule. I was just trying to think this through of like, just to make it manageable and easy for today's topic of conversation. Break your life up into 5 buckets. Bucket number 1 is going to be career. It's what you do for work or what you're trying to build or like where you're trying to go. That's bucket number 1. It's your career. Bucket number 2 is going to be personal. That's going to be your mental, your physical health, your soul, everything about you. That's its own bucket. That's personal. Third bucket is going to be relationships. That's dealing with family. That's dealing with friends. That's dealing with a significant other. That's its own bucket in itself. Managing relationships is not easy. Whether it's family, whether it's friends, or whether it is a significant other, it takes time and it takes effort. There's a saying that I think my uncle told me once when I was growing up. The phone works both ways. So if somebody's not calling you or you're not calling them, it's a two-way street. So you can't rely on other people to always reach out to you. You have to also put in that effort. Fourth bucket would be passions and hobbies. So for me, your boy, the bearded man, that's surfing. For you, it could be playing video games. It could be reading. It could be going for a walk with your dog. Whatever your passions and hobbies are, that's its own bucket. Let's call that number 4. And then fifth and final one, wasn't totally sold on this one, but I kind of think it's a good bucket, is just high level your finances and your money, right? Like we need to be smart with our money. That's what sets us up for future success. It's how we're able to pay the bills and invest in ourselves. Excuse me. See, the problem with podcasting right after you eat, you start to get all the bubbles and the, soda water, seltzer, doesn't really do me justice. I know you don't care. Okay. So finances, money, that's like investing, saving up. Highly suggest living below your means because it helps you stack bread up. That cheddar. So you have these 5 buckets. Once again, career, personal, relationships, passions and hobbies, finances / money. All 5, in my belief, once again, don't have all the answers. This is my bearded wisdom. All 5 of those areas of your life need equal energy to be in balance. So if you put all 5 of these on a scale, they need to be spread equally for us to be, I don't want to say happy, but to be not operating. I just think there needs to be balance. There needs to be equally spread within those 5, okay? And I'll get into a little bit more of that in a second. What happens from the balance? Bobby, bearded man, Bobby, how is walking my dog, how is surfing, how is that benefiting me in any way? It's a luxury, it's leisure time, it's not helping me progress in my career, it's not making me money, if anything, it's costing me money. Insert every thought and excuse that's coming to your brain right now, insert it now, I get it. I totally get it. What I have found from balance, okay, is it allows my mind and body to rest. It gives me necessary time to step away and to stop thinking. I am somebody that always is thinking and wants to go, go, go. My Monday through Friday is insanity. Wake up at 5:30, work, from 5:30 till 9, I'm working out, doing my shenanigans, getting ready for the day. 9 to 6, working straight through for Liquid IV. On a day like today, stop at 6, eat dinner, start cooking up this podcast by 6:30. I'll finish editing, post-production, all that, uploaded, ready to go for the week by 8. And then I'm done. I'm checked out for the day. I'm in bed, passed out by 10, 2 hours later. So it's this go, go, go Monday through Friday. Saturday, it starts to lighten up a little bit. Usually the mornings I go grocery shopping. Maybe there's some other work I need to touch up on, do a podcast. And then usually Saturday afternoon and then through all of Sunday, it's kind of like shut it down. But what it's allowed me to do when I'm shutting it down, even though I'm not making progress, is just allowing my mind and body to step away from the work. allows me to see everything from a different lens because I'm stepping away. I'm letting it marinate. I'm letting things just be. I'm going to distract myself elsewhere, to stop thinking about the work, to stop overthinking ideas that maybe are brewing in my mind. And sometimes what I found is the best ideas actually come to me when I'm not actually in the work. I don't think Elon Musk thought of his incredible creations by sitting down at the desk going, okay, how am I going to build this spaceship? How am I going to design this car? I mean, yes, maybe he has to sit down at some point and like think that through. But I believe that sometimes our greatest ideas come in the action of doing other things. When I'm running, when I'm taking a shower, when I'm listening to a podcast, when I'm having a conversation with a friend. All of those things that you could argue are not necessarily, they aren't really necessarily work related. They're actually inspiring me down the line. It might not connect in the moment, but maybe a couple hours later, a few days later, I think back on that conversation I had with coffee with a friend that was purely leisure, and some conversation sparked, or a podcast that I'm listening to, Joe Rogan, him and Post Malone talk about something. I'm like, yo, I never thought of it like that. This is something I need to dive into. Sometimes I really do believe our best ideas come from stepping away from the work. And like I said, that's why I've learned to just dedicate. Saturdays, I'm kind of on the fence. I do a little bit of work. But Sundays, I'm trying to hold tight as my day where there is no work allowed. There's no blogging. There's no planning. There's no podcasting. There's nothing. It's a day for me to purely check out, mail it in, and have myself a day. That tends to be now going to the beach for the entire day, and I love it. I wake up Monday morning, and I feel so refreshed. I'm excited to get back to work. I'm motivated. Now, granted, I'm very fortunate because I work for a company that I'm passionate about. I'm very passionate about everything within this company, passionate about my career. I'm passionate about what I'm learning, what my responsibilities are within this job. I feel very fortunate because I know there are people in this world that wake up every day and they hate what they do. I know that. And that's something that I dreaded from day one when I got out of college. I told myself I will never allow myself to be doing something that I hate. Granted, those Uber days I didn't necessarily love, but I saw a lot of value in it. I was meeting great people. I controlled my schedule. There was too much upside, and I didn't have many options. So, stepping away from the work and having that balance allows us to resharpen our tools. You don't have to be a creative. You don't have to be Bob the Builder. It doesn't matter what your passion is or what your career choice may be. It's good to step away. It's going to resharpen your mind so that when you go back to the work, you're seeing things from a different perspective. And honestly, thirdly, why balance is important. Life is bigger than just working. It is. I think work, finding a career that we're passionate about is extremely important. I think that is so important. I had this conversation with my father yesterday, who just recently retired after 32 plus years of working for the state of Massachusetts. And he's talking about how he's taking the summer off and then he's going to find a job. And I really do believe that we need something to keep us busy in our day or in our week, because I think it provides fulfillment. It gives us purpose when we wake up in the morning. We know, hey, I got to go do this. I don't care if you are somebody that deals with trash for a living. I don't care if you sweep the streets. I don't care if you are a butcher. I don't care if you're a podcast specialist like me. Own it and be the best at that. Be the best possible version of whatever that thing you're doing right now to make a living, to keep the lights on. Just do it the best. People take note of that. I prided myself as an Uber driver. The world's favorite Uber driver. Top 2%. I got a sticker to prove it. I owned it. And it pushed so much more energy into my life. I knew that I was already going to be in this car for 10 hours a day. So why not just own it? Why not just make the best of it? And I think people saw that in me. And I think it helped me build my brand through content, because I was always sharing it. It's like, look at this guy, this freaking bearded guy. He thinks he's the world's favorite bearded man. He thinks he's the world's most slept on podcaster. And now he's telling people he's the world's favorite Uber driver. Who the hell is this guy? I knew that nobody could call me out on my authenticity. You can't call it out. You just can't. It's like 8 Mile. It's like the end of 8 Mile. So I think whatever that situation you're in right now, work-wise, just own it, right? But step away from the work. Take that out of the equation. There's so much more to life than just work, right? It's about experiences. It's about going to music festivals. It's about checking off that bucket list item that you've always wanted to try. Think about those things in your life that you maybe do now all the time. Maybe you record music. Maybe you draw. Maybe you go for hikes every weekend. Like, think back to when that was not what you always did. And there was that one experience that like triggered everything and you like got excited to go do it. Think about how much value that's added into your life, right? Life's bigger than working, for sure. Maybe one of those things is falling in love, okay? I have so much love in my family from friends and family. I can't say that I've ever fallen truly in love. I've definitely like gotten caught up on some girls. But I don't know if I've ever fallen in love. But that's an experience that I would love to live through. I'm not saying like that's what I'm looking for right now in my life. I'm not like out there on dating apps and just looking for love. Like, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Bob. I'm looking for love. Are you love? Like, are you trying to get this? I'm not looking for it. I know it'll show up when it's meant to be. 26 years young, freaking crushing it. Trying to build my career, baby. You know what I'm saying? But that's an experience that I would love to ride through and try and like have that passion. I think that's just so fire when you can find something like that. Another experience could be helping others. Maybe you're somebody that likes to use your free time and help out with a local organization, whatever that might be. There's just so much to do in life other than work, right? Other than making money. Maybe you like to travel. It's just sometimes when I think about it, we are literally here for this finite time. This short time. Now, while we're in it, it feels long, right? 80, 90 years old. Like, I'm 26 and I feel like I've lived already a couple lifetimes and I'm still just getting warmed up. You know what I'm saying? But in the grand scheme of things, we're here for a short amount of time. And that's the thing. For me personally, I don't know where this stems from. Probably maybe my parents taught me this, or it was the lessons that they kind of instilled in me growing up. But the last thing that I want to do is get on that deathbed, hopefully years out, 80 plus or some shit. You know what I mean? I got a lot I got to cross off before then. But the last thing I want to do is be laying on that bed thinking back like, I worked my whole life away and I never got to do X, Y, and Z. I never crossed off those bucket list items that I always told myself I'd want to do. That's to me is like the biggest scarce of it all, because eventually we die and what's left? All that money that we worked up for, gone. But the experiences that we've shared with other people, I think that lives on forever. And so for me personally, I really do believe life is bigger than work. Yes, we need to find things that help us pay the bills and give us that fulfillment in our day-to-day. But we also have to find the things that make us enjoy life just as much. One thing that I was realizing during COVID, which was scaring the shit out of me for the first couple months, was and I've talked about this on other podcasts on It's the Bearded Man, I would get done working at 6 p.m. and I'd go, I don't even know what to do now. Granted, this is COVID, we weren't allowed to go outside, so like totally understandable. But like, it gave me a lot of time to reflect and think about what else am I passionate about? That's why I bought an Xbox. I was getting into gaming for a couple weeks, and then I was like, okay, I feel like shit. I'm just wasting time. Granted, I wasn't necessarily wasting it, but it wasn't the right thing. And then I had my parents send out my golf clubs. We talked about this on the podcast I did with Daniil and other ones, but it gave me time to really ask myself, like, what else do you enjoy doing? When you're done working, what is that next thing? And this is it. It's sharing my voice. It's creating content. It's trying to lead by example and share everything, But all that to say, I think life really is about more than just work and money. It's about experiences. It's about checking off the things that we want to do. And I think that's what's so beautiful. We all have different bucket list items. Okay? A prime example is my buddy Jeremiah Davis. He goes by That One Blonde Kid on Instagram. This guy's an absolute savage. He jumps out of planes. He just jumped out of like a hot air balloon in a plane last week. jumped out of helicopters. He surfs, he snowboards, he rides motorcycles. I admire this guy because not only do I see a daredevil type energy inside him, but I admire his energy for life and for new experiences and for just pushing himself to just try different things. I love that. I'm not the guy that's going to be doing similar things to like him, but I think he's a great example, and I think that's why people gravitate towards him personally and through his content, is because they're living vicariously through him. He's somebody that they want to become, which we all have inside us. We all have the ability to cross off bucket list items and to try the things we want to do. It just sometimes can be scary because we're not putting in the effort, and so we're not improving on this area of our life. The only way to increase progress in any area of our life is by giving it effort. And I really do believe it takes full balance of our lives, whether it's career, personal relationships, passion/hobbies, finances/money, and there's probably a bunch of other buckets I'm missing. I really do believe it takes equal spread of our energy, of our week, across those in order for us at the end of the day to go, I'm pretty happy with how that went, or how things are going. I want to put a challenge out to all of you guys and gals listening right now. I want you to grab a piece of paper or open up your notes app on your Mac. Maybe you are traveling right now and you have your phone. I want you to find something that you can write this down on. I want you to write across the paper, or however you can write this down. I want you to write down those 5 buckets: career, personal, relationships, passion/hobbies, finance/money. If there's other areas in your life that I just did not think of, which I'm sure there are, why don't you add those too? Add those up and you have your list. To make numbers easy, and because I don't know what you're thinking right now, we're going to stick to my 5, but do exactly what I'm saying with your 7, 8, 10, however many you break it up. Think of it like this. So you have your 5 buckets, or however many buckets you have, and I want you to think in terms like this. If you have 100%, right? Big picture, how do you equally divide up your energy? You have 100% of energy, right? That's throughout the week. How do you equally divide those up throughout? Are you heavy on career, where you feel like it's 50% career and then the other 50% is divided up into the other 4 buckets, or however many buckets you have? Or you're somebody that's just totally on a relationship right now, this beautiful guy or gal that you met, and you feel like you're heavy on there, like 40%. And other areas in your life, you're just giving up on like friendships, and you're giving up on like your career-wise. You're not giving up, but you're just not putting as much time and energy. I want you to be honest with yourself and write down those buckets and write down the percentage of which you feel you are designating your life to right now. How much of your week is going towards that area? In a picture-perfect world, I'm not even sure if it'd be possible for me, but I'm definitely trying to get it to be equally split. In a picture-perfect world, if you just did those 5 buckets, you'd be 20% in each of those buckets. Granted, some might be plus or minus a couple extra, but at the end of the day, you want to be relatively equal. I think this can provide us a lot of insight looking at this and going, there's an area of my life I'm not putting time and effort into, clearly, based on my percentages, that nobody knows me better than me. Am I happy with that area of my life? Am I actually content with where that is at and where it's going? No. Then I think we need to reallocate some more energy towards that, more percentage towards that area. If it's vice versa and you feel happy about it, then good. Maybe only put 15% there and you're happy with where it's at, then that's great. It's all about you. You got to prioritize inside. So I'm not saying it all has to be completely equal, but I think this will give us a visual representation. Are we happy with where we're at? Once again, there is no progress without effort. So think of it in that terms. If there's a certain area you're trying to improve, put more time and energy into that, and at some point you're going to start making progress. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope this was somewhat beneficial. It's a very interesting and hard topic for me to talk on because I'm still I'm still very early on my whole balance of figuring out what does balance look like in my life, and I'm still putting percentage into areas that had 0 trying to increase that up a lot more now. But I think it takes time. It takes time for all of us to get there. I want to give a quick shout out to my man Ryan Pod for submitting this question and topic, because without him, we wouldn't be talking about it today. And I'm really hyped for him because he's about to be launching his new podcast called the RPD Show, the Ryan Pod Discussion Show. So keep a lookout for that. That'll be coming out later this month. If you guys and gals have a question or topic that you would like me to discover, you would like me to dive into, please hit me up, and I'd be happy to get into it. You know where to find me. I mean, I'm not going to go through all that shenanigans. Lastly, the call to actions. I know, it's so boring. I know, but it's so important. 2 things. 1, screenshot this episode, post it to your Instagram story, tag me at Bob-A, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y, and let your fans or friends know what you enjoyed about this podcast and why they need to listen. Lastly, head to the iTunes podcast app, leave a 1-sentence review, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 19 episodes in on this podcast. I also see now, looking at my notey, I got some bumbles coming in hot. So Bearded Man's got to get in there, because that's an area of my life I'm putting time and energy into. Hashtag single boy. Hashtag will this Bearded Man ever shut up about his dating life? Nope. I'm going to keep talking about it until I speak it into fruition. Thank you guys and gals for tuning in and just supporting the Bearded Man content. A lot more content on the way. I hope you guys and gals have a great rest of your Thursday, wherever you are in the world. Whether you're riding your bike, going for a jog, in the office, crushing through, whatever it may be, just keep crushing it. And we got a lot more content on the way. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your night. Talk to you real soon. See ya!